All right, we're here with Mrs. Hunt. Mrs. Hunt, what are we about to see here in this lesson?
Getting ready to see a blended lesson that Mrs. Wiltshire and I did together, where we were trying to make sure the kids could learn the technology that they should be able to use, and also be able to use critical thinking and some of the 5 C's, where it wasn't just like they were playing a game and they weren't just like writing or just doing something that was already really done for them. So what we came up with is we looked at her technology standards and we looked at our English standards, and we planned a lesson together that would help them learn how to do some things on the keyboard that they were supposed to do, be able to use some of the Google Slides, be able to actually write some things. And so what we came up with was an activity where they had to actually listen. We read them a story aloud, then they listened to it too, and then we made slides where they were actually brainstorming and doing pre-writing, and then they actually wrote a draft of their story. And they also had the fun part where they actually got to design a snowman and kind of be creative that way. But I felt like it was really using what I feel is more like blended learning, because it wasn't just like I put something on there and then they were playing a game. They actually had to think, and everybody was having some choice, and it was all a little bit different, even though they were sort of following the same format that we'd all talked about. But it was really interesting too to see the things that we could go back and add to it. Like they asked, could they use a thesaurus? It was really cool to see how I could have put a link in there where they could go to the thesaurus or a rhyming dictionary and things like that. So I felt like they were getting a lot out of it, and it was really covering a lot of things that we're trying to do with them.
Certainly very authentic, because they're using the same tools that we're using and learning how to use in Stafford County, which is kind of cool.
And I learned as much as they were doing, because Gail's helping me to learn how to use some of
how to use Google Classroom and the assignments.
To make sure, yeah, because I don't do it every day. But for them to be able to get on there and do some things with it.
So, talking about C's, C5w, what are your thoughts on the C's that this hits?
Well, the thing I was looking mostly for was like the critical thinking. How do I brainstorm a story? How do I think about words that would fit a story? How do I actually plan it? How do I actually go back and rewrite it and revise it? So I felt like they were kind of writing the story like what they had been read, but then they got to be able to figure out what they were wanting to do with their snowman. So that was my biggest thing, was just hitting that. But they had to communicate with myself, because I'm going to be reading it. They had to communicate with, they can communicate with each other on it, because they were going to share it with each other. So I felt like there was a lot of that.
Definitely oral and written communication, for sure. Critical thinking, certainly.
And then creative. They got to be creative.
Well, I was going to say creativity, because not only are they creating, they get to build their own snowman, which was kind of a part of their pre-write, but there also is a piece that they're creating their own story, a piece of their own narrative.
It was really cool to see them making connections too with stuff we'd done earlier in the year, like, oh, can I use a thesaurus? Do I need a dictionary? Could I use this and actually use tools that a real writer would use? Because today's writers would be writing probably on a keyboard and things like that, like the kids were doing. So it was kind of cool to see that they still wanted to use those tools that we've talked about that people use throughout the year. So I felt like there was a lot of creativity, a lot of choice. They could kind of do what they wanted with it, and that they were really using those higher level thinking skills.
And certainly some engaging qualities there too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. We can't wait to see this task, so stay tuned. Here comes the task for Mrs. Hunt's class. All right, what's your project here, kiddo?
Our project is Snowman at Night, and this is the book Snowman at Night. And so we have to create a snowman and write a story, about what snowmen do at night and why they melt. And it's fiction, so it's non-fiction. And so and so we have to read this story before we do the project and create our snowman. Then we have to brainstorm words for what we're going to write in our story. Then we have to brainstorm the beginning, middle, and end for the story, and then we have to write our story.
So you're constructing or creating your own fiction story about a snowman.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty neat. All starting with children's literature here. That's great. Thanks, kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm here with another friend in Miss Hunt's room. All right, what stage are you at in this task?
I'm a graphic organizer, and I'm writing down words I might use in the story. I'm gonna write about the snowman I built.
Okay, can you show me the snowman that you built? There's the graphic organizer that you have. Show me that snowman that you built. Very neat. So, is your story going to be about that snowman?
Yes.
All right. Do you have any ideas what that snowman's going to do in your story? Not yet.
Not yet.
So you're not in that stage yet. So I wouldn't expect that. Great creation. Well done. All right, ma'am. So what stage are you in on your project here?
I am doing my Foursquare that helps me organize my story so I can make sure my story makes sense. It has a beginning, middle, and end.
Okay. And then what stage do you enter into after this?
My final draft.
Okay. Does this help you organize your thoughts?
Yes.
So tell me about your creation. Is it your own creation? Have you had choice to what you get to make this
Yes.
story about? Okay.
It has to be a little bit of rhyming, but
Okay. How about then your snowman? Did you get to create your own snowman? Design it? All right. Want to show me that?
yes, it will. It's right there.
There it is. And then the story that you create, is that you get to write a story about anything you want to write about?
Basically, yeah.
It just has to be about what?
A snowman,
Just about a snowman. You can make that story about anything you want to.
anything.
Pretty neat.
But it has to be at night.
Enjoy. Thanks. All right, I'm at my final stop here for this task. All right, take me through how this whole thing began and where you're finally, what place you are in your project.
So first we start with like designing our snowman, and you have all of these.
All right, we click
things
on
to
that. Show us.
design it. This is
Okay.
one looks like you can do eyes, mouth, arms, feet, hats, hair, and some extras. Then you do the words you might use in it, and these are the words I might use.
Use. Okay.
And then you go to a graphic organizer, and then what you do with graphic organizer is you just sum up what you do in each part,
Okay.
and then
And finally, where does that lead you?
type it up. And mine only took a page.
And
And
so
then
what
after
is-
that, you can revise it.
Right, and what is that you typed up? What is that? Is that a story?
Yeah.
So you actually you created your own story
Yes.
about the snowman that you built at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And you got to choose what you wanted that story to be about?
Yeah, but and it's supposed to be like the book Snowman at Night, but you can't copy the book. You can only do a few things.
Did you have fun with this? Pretty engaging?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite type is is typing this.
You like that, huh?
Yeah. A lot of other people like making the snowman.
Well done. Thanks for sharing.
Welcome.
All right, I'm here with the co-creator of this lesson. So Mrs. Wiltshire, our ITRT, she's one of our technology coaches, actually our only technology coach here in Conway. So I guess what's your perspective on this whole thing, Ms. Wiltshire? How did this thing come about, and then what was your overall, really objective for this lesson?
Mrs. Hunt and I had talked about doing a coaching cycle, and she is trying to provide authentic audiences and activities for her students in writing. So I found this activity, we modified it to suit her needs, and the students were building the snowman, and then they were thinking how the snowman might go on an adventure at night, and then they were doing some brainstorming of words that they could use. They did a graphic organizer to organize their thoughts, and then they made their final copy of their story. We thought that the activity, was very open-ended. It allowed for their creativity. It allowed for the students to express themselves in writing to an authentic audience, and we thought it was very successful. Students were very engaged and excited to be working with this.
Well, you use that word engaged, and certainly some very engaging qualities to this lesson. I mean, here's a picture of one of the students' snowmen. I mean, it's not every day that you get to build a snowman digitally, so certainly novelty and variety, creativity would be another C that we got to accomplish, and then communication, certainly written communication is a piece of this as well, which is another C, and even some critical thinking, because they're doing something with their own thought, so it takes it above the rigor divide a tad as well, not just a tad, but quite a bit. And then as far as other engaging qualities, there certainly is a sense of ownership of what their response. Almost they had choice in the matter. They had personal choice and about how they chose to respond to this particular task as well, and what they got to write about, and what happened to their snowmen. So definitely a lot of engaging qualities as well. So pretty successful.
Yes, sir. Yes. Students were very excited, asking to do it again.
Cool. Well done. Thanks.
Thank you.